The first step in the mystery method is simply approaching the person you are interested in. And of course, this is the hardest part, everybody knows that, as it requires overcoming any initial anxiety or fear of rejection. So let's take a real life scenario. Let's say, and I'm going to be very stereotypical with it, imagine you are at a bar with a group of friends and you spot a woman standing by the pool table. And she's there, she's laughing with her friends, and you look at her and you think, wow, I like this one. And you feel, a flutter of nervousness. But you have to make a move if you want to get anywhere. So, what you have to do is you have to walk up to her with a relaxed demeanor, and instead of giving a direct compliment like, "Ooh, you're really beautiful," you open up with a statement that engages her. Okay, you need to make her feel intrigued. So, you say something like, "Hey, I bet you're the kind of person who always get people to laugh. How do you do it?" Now, this isn't a cheesy pickup line, but a challenge that makes her wonder, why does he think I'm funny? So it immediately puts her in this position where she sees you as someone who is different from the usual approach. This point is to break the ice and then show her that you're not just another guy who wants to hit on her. You are someone who is interesting and confident enough to open up with something original. The next step is you want to spark interest. All right. Now, what you want to do is demonstrate higher value, or DHV. You want to demonstrate DHV. You want to show yourself as a high value person. So, once you've opened the conversation, the next goal is to quickly demonstrate your value to the group or the woman without coming off as arrogant. And this is what's called DHV, or demonstration of higher value. So you want to make her intrigued by you by not bragging. It's about showcasing your qualities subtly through, stories, actions, and presence. So let's take a real life scenario. Let's say the woman you have approached, okay? Let's call her Emily for the sake of this real life scenario. And Emily is talking about her recent trip to Europe. Now, instead of just listening, you take the opportunity to insert something that shows you are an interesting person. Maybe you mention, I've always wanted to travel more, but I've spent the last few years in the gym training for a competition. By casually mentioning something like training for a competition, you are signaling that you are disciplined, health conscious, and have a life beyond just work or casual fun. And it shows you are high value without needing to say, I'm so fit, or I'm really strong, look at my biceps. You're letting the situation demonstrate your qualities. Okay? So here's a few key takeaways from what we've said. Show, don't tell. Instead of bragging, you let your actions or words reveal your worth. Now, step 3, the comfort phase. All right, we need to build trust and, of course, connection. What do we have to do? We have to build trust and connection. Okay, we need to build rapport and comfort. So let's take the comfort phase first, because the comfort phase is about getting to know the woman on a deeper emotional level. Now, at this point, the goal is to move from simply being an attractive stranger to someone she can trust and feel comfortable around. And this is the phase where you build rapport through shared interests, personal stories, and mutual understandings. So let's make another real life scenario. Okay, so you've been talking to Emily for a while now, and instead of trying to flirt constantly, you shift the conversation to something more personal, like childhood memories. You ask her, what's the craziest thing you did as a kid? I remember getting in trouble for sneaking out to play video games when I was supposed to be studying. What about you? Emily responds by telling you a funny story about how she used to sneak out to go skateboarding with her brother. I know, sounds lame, but let's for the example. Okay, so now you're connecting over something real and vulnerable. This type of conversation builds comfort, which is essential to moving forward. You are showing her that you're not just interested in her physically, but you are also connecting on an emotional level, right? So, this is where the friend zone can be avoided. You are showing her that you are emotionally intelligent. You can talk about things that matter just beyond surface level topics. All right, then we need to go on to step 4, the kind escalation phase, physical touch and attraction. Okay, so at this stage, you want to build physical comfort and increase attraction by introducing escalation or escalation. I'm not sure how you say it. So the gradual increase of physical touch, all right, this should feel natural and calibrated to how comfortable the woman feels with you. So another real life scenario here: after some time talking and laughing with Emily, the conversation flows easily and you both seem comfortable, and you're talking about something funny, and as you're laughing you lightly touch her arm for a second to emphasize your point. It's not aggressive or forward, just a subtle connection. As the conversation continues, you might gently touch her hand when making a point or brush her shoulder when you're joking. You're testing the waters, watching her reactions and ensuring the physical touch feels natural, not forced. So if she reacts positively, laughing, leaning in, touching you back, it's a sign she's comfortable with the escalation and it's time to continue pushing forward. All right. So the key is patience and calibration. Start small and pay close attention to her body language. If she pulls away or doesn't engage with the touch, pull back and wait for another opportunity. The seduction phase, moving the interaction to intimacy. Okay, we need to move towards intimacy. By now, if you've built enough rapport and physical comfort, you are then ready to move the interaction towards a more intimate level. And this isn't about jumping straight into anything too serious or aggressive, but rather leading the interaction towards a romantic connection. So, another real life scenario: it's late in the evening and the conversation has naturally shifted to more intimate topics. You and Emily are now talking about relationships and what you both look for in a partner. And you decide to escalate it by leaning a little closer, looking into her eyes and saying, it's really rare to meet someone who shares my sense of humor and has this much passion about life. I have to admit, I find that kind of energy really attractive. You're making it clear that you're interested in her beyond just a friendship or casual interaction. And the words feel genuine, not forced. You're making your intentions clear without overwhelming her. So if she responds positively, maybe she smiles, maybe she gives you a playful look, then you've effectively created sexual tension. Dum, dum, dum. At this point, you might even lean in for a kiss, depending on the flow of the interaction and her response. It's really important that you look at her response, her facial expressions, how she looks at you, the vibe. All right. So the key to the seduction phase is reading the room. It's about the right timing and making sure she feels like she's comfortable and ready to take things further. It's not about rushing things, it's about making sure the attraction and intimacy builds naturally. Okay, here we go. Step 6: frame control. Setting the tone. We need to set the tone. Frame control, all right. Through the entire process, you need to maintain what's called frame control. The idea that you are the one controlling the dynamic of the interaction. It's not about controlling her, but rather setting the tone for how the interaction will unfold. You need to make a narrative, you need to make a story, right? So, another real life scenario: as you and Emily continue talking, you maintain an air of confidence that lets her know you're not desperate. Let's say she brings up her ex, okay? Just the worst case scenario. You could be tempted to engage in some negativity. Don't. Instead, you maintain your cool and reply, exes are part of life, but I'm more focused on what's happening in the present. And right now, I'm really enjoying getting to know you. Now you're setting the tone for the conversation. You're not letting her steer the interaction into territory that doesn't serve the connection that you are building with her. You're confident enough in the direction the interaction is going to stay grounded and positive. All right, you're confident enough in the direction that the interaction is going to stay grounded and positive. Always be positive. All right, so Frame control is about not allowing the conversation to be hijacked by negative energy or outside influences. You keep it positive, you keep it grounded and focused on building something meaningful. All right. So, the mystery method is a process, it's a slow building journey that requires you to be confident, patient, and aware of the dynamic between you and the person you are interacting with. By carefully moving through these phases, attraction, comfort, kindness, escalation, and seduction, and of course, maintaining frame control, you can navigate, well, almost any interaction with ease, creating genuine connections. Now, the beauty of this method is that it's not just about using tricks or manipulation, it's about understanding the natural flow of attraction and knowing how to nurture it step by step. Whether you're at a bar, a party, or even on a casual coffee date, wherever, this approach gives you the tools to make real, lasting connections with people who then spark your interest. Have fun, use it carefully,